Dale Earnhardt, the face of Richard Childress Racing. When it comes to legendary motorsports figures, Dale Earnhardt is a name that stands out among the rest. Renowned for his aggressive driving style and success on the track, Earnhardt was a true icon in the world of NASCAR. One of the most memorable chapters of his illustrious career was his time spent with Richard Childress Racing. Richard Childress Racing is a NASCAR team that has been a dominant force in the sport for decades. Founded by former driver Richard Childress in 1969, the team has seen success at the highest level, with multiple championships and race wins to its name. And at the center of it all was Dale Earnhardt, the man who became the face of Richard Childress Racing. Earnhardt joined Richard Childress Racing in 1984, and it was a partnership that would go on to define both his career and the team's legacy. Together, Earnhardt and Childress formed a formidable duo, with Earnhardt behind the wheel and Childress calling the shots from the pit box. Their partnership would see them win multiple championships and establish themselves as one of the most dominant forces in NASCAR. One of the defining moments of Earnhardt's time with Richard Childress Racing came in 1990, when he won his fourth Winston Cup Series championship. This victory cemented Earnhardt's status as one of the greatest drivers in the history of NASCAR, and it was a testament to the partnership he had formed with Richard Childress. Throughout his time with Richard Childress Racing, Earnhardt became known for his aggressive driving style and never-say-die attitude on the track. He was a driver who would do whatever it took to win, and this mentality endeared him to fans around the world. And with Richard Childress by his side, Earnhardt was able to turn that aggressive style into success, with multiple race wins and championships to show for it. But Earnhardt's time with Richard Childress Racing was not without its challenges. In 2001, tragedy struck when Earnhardt was involved in a fatal crash during the Daytona 500. The loss of Earnhardt was devastating to the racing world, and it was a moment that will forever be remembered as one of the darkest days in NASCAR history. In the wake of Earnhardt's passing, Richard Childress Racing faced an uncertain future. But the team persevered, carrying on Earnhardt's legacy and continuing to compete at the highest level. And while Earnhardt may no longer be with us, his presence is still felt at Richard Childress Racing, with his memory serving as a source of inspiration for the team and its fans. Today, Richard Childress Racing continues to be a competitive force in NASCAR, with a roster of talented drivers and a legacy that is second to none. And while Earnhardt may no longer be behind the wheel, his impact on the team and the sport as a whole is still as strong as ever. His time with Richard Childress Racing may have been cut short, but the legacy he left behind will never be forgotten. In conclusion, Dale Earnhardt's time with Richard Childress Racing was a defining chapter in both his career and the team's legacy. Together, Earnhardt and Childress formed a partnership that would go on to dominate the world of NASCAR, with multiple championships and race wins to their name. And while Earnhardt may no longer be with us, his presence is still felt at Richard Childress Racing, serving as a reminder of the impact he had on the sport and the team. Dale Earnhardt may have been known as the Intimidator on the track, but his time with Richard Childress Racing will forever be remembered as a symbol of excellence and determination in the world of motorsports.